and really getting those phases down. Because if you can get through those hormone phases where hormones drop during menstruation or when hormones switch during ovulation, then it's just easier to navigate overall. So what we're following is your basal body temperature. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. Welcome back to the Female Health Solution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Beth Westy. Let's dive into talking about nutrition for your hormones, how to eat for your cycle, and specific foods and things that we're going to focus on. Now, before I dive into this, just keep in mind that the origin of all of this is based in Eastern medicine. This is not how we do things in the Western world. You might be able to tell from how I speak, but I'm from Minnesota. So grew up in the Midwest, grew up in Minnesota, right? And I live here with my husband and 3 kids and everything. And it's really important to keep in mind that the world that we are used to and raised in is sometimes very, I don't want to say just dismissive of how the female body functions. It's just not taken into account, right? There are so many phrases, there are so many things out there, books where we talk about this, doing harm, invisible women. Dr. Stacy Sims talks about women are not small men, of course, but in the broader scope of it, we're looking at this from, women are not taken into account when we do any type of research or study or anything else. So therefore, a lot of things are set up for a male body to be successful day in, day out, and everything. And women are not addressed in that way. But that is not the case in other places in the world. So when we think about this and think about something as simple as just the foods that you choose to eat every day, the foods that you choose, your breakfast, snacks, lunches, dinners, everything, right? Think how you drink water, how you hydrate is really important. To simplify this, I'm going to break the whole cycle into basically 2 chunks, into 2 categories. Now, there is, of course, 4, right? You're talking about the menstrual phase. Then you have your follicular phase, which is estrogen is higher. Then there's ovulation, and then there's your luteal phase. Now, the menstrual and ovulation are typically shorter time frames. And if we're looking at this hormonally, your hormone levels shift within 2 to 3 days of that time frame. So of the 28 days and the 4 phases within those 28 days, it's not split into 4 even weeks. Again, something very specific to the female body. Day 1 is the first day of your period, and that's when your estrogen and progesterone levels are the lowest. They will stay low for the next 2 to 3 days before estrogen slowly starts to climb. So it's a smaller time frame overall, right? And then it's going into estrogen, that follicular phase where estrogen starts to rise. The ovulation phase, when you ovulate, that's what causes progesterone to, it increases, it rises dramatically, and estrogen drops. So within a 24 to 48 hour, 2 to 3 day time frame, there's a huge swap of hormone. Now, again, it's not a very long period of time. So to help with that transition, I'm just going to speak about the hormone phases in terms of weeks 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And really getting those phases down, because if you can get through those hormone phases where hormones drop during menstruation or when hormones switch during ovulation, then it's just easier to navigate overall. So what we're following is your basal body temperature. When your period starts, your basal body temperature should drop and be low. And then when you ovulate, it should spike and then stay elevated. So that differentiates everything. And literally your temperature should drop within a day and rise within a day for ovulation. So that's what we're following, the warming and the cooling pattern of that. Now, again, you can Google this. You can look this up. What are warming foods? And those are foods that you're going to eat days 15 through 28 of your cycle, that last 2 weeks. I call it just the progesterone phase, right? The luteal phase, warming foods. Yeah. Warming foods are going to be seasonings and spices like cayenne, pepper, right? Red pepper, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg. Warming, great. You can eat red meats, things like that. Cooking your foods. There are some fruits and vegetables that have more of a warming tone to them. Yes. There are foods that are neutral, right? Like eggs are kind of neutral, right? And then there's the cooling foods. With the lower basal body temperature, days 1 through 14, lower basal body temperature, eat those cooling foods. Spices and seasonings like, spearmint, mint, peppermint, whatever, rosemary, dill, thyme, cilantro. Very cooling seasonings. And then chicken, turkey, fish, warming protein or cooling proteins. And then your body just having, raw fruits and veggies. That's a cooling tone. Again, like an easy way to think of it, if you were to have cucumber mint water, days 1 through 14, that's very cooling. And if you were to put fresh ginger slices in your water, days 15 through 28, warming. Little things like that, just shift and change to work with your body temperature. Lean into that difference. Now, here's the other thing is that a lot of people will think, oh, I need to even it out. If my temperature is higher, I want to bring it down. And my temperature is lower, I want to bring it up. No. That is a very male model mindset of our body being the same all the time. Oh, you should wake up and be ready to go, and your body should be responsive and do X, Y, and Z every single day. No, absolutely not. Our bodies are very different. That hormonal shift and change that happens changes how our body functions. It changes your digestive system. It changes your muscle tissue repair. It changes your mental focus. It actually can shift ADHD symptoms for women. It changes so much. So just trying to quote unquote, oh, if my temperature is higher in the luteal phase, I'm going to lower that. No, lean into that. Lean into that more. It will help you work with your body. Now, I do have tinctures. Oh, let me grab them. Hold on. Oh, see, there's that Minnesota. Estradiol balance and progesterone balance. Now, these are not hormones. These are herbs that are designed to help your system maintain the correct amount of estrogen for your system and then support maintaining progesterone for your system, what your body naturally creates and you work with. This is cooling, this is warming. And there are specific herbs and everything in here that are designed to help your system function. That's the, I'll say, magic of this. It's kind of like seed cycling, right? And everything else, but in a bottle. Now, the easy thing to do when you're looking at working with your hormones and cycle is just to understand, okay, say you're on day 5, right? You're going to be doing this tincture, you're going to be doing pumpkin and flaxseed, and you're going to be trying to layer in more cooling foods. The magic, again, is not about being restrictive or exclusive. Does this mean you can't have a steak during this time? No. I mean, totally, if you want to have a steak, right? Just try and add in these cooling things to support this lower basal body temperature phase at this time. And then after ovulation, everything switch over to warming. Shift your water, add in sesame and sunflower seeds, add the progesterone balance tincture, shift and change what you're doing to match with where your body's at. It's amazing how this helps your system regulate, how it supports overall, and how even if you go through tough times, it doesn't let stress impact your cycle as negatively. Yeah. Yep. That's it. It's literally as simple as that. Now, sometimes I get the question of, well, I'm married and I cook for me and my husband most of the time. And what if this or that? Like, is it going to impact him? No, he doesn't have that same hormonal fluctuations you do. So it's not really going to do different things for him. But that's really the basis of it. That's the simple cut and dry. Shifting and changing the tone of your food adding in the tinctures for extra help. And then the only other thing I would say is when you are in that luteal phase, that your system does need more nutrient. It needs more protein. It needs more healthy fats, like more calories a day. That's going to help your system. When you are in menopause, now I do have I don't have it down here next to me. I do have a tincture for menopause to help support hormones overall in menopause. Those hormone levels do drop, but nutritionally, you can still follow the same warming and cooling patterns every other week. It's really, really helpful for overall metabolic process because then it keeps you from eating the same all the time. But the biggest thing to keep in mind with menopause is that your body needs more protein. It needs more protein to do the same job protein used to do. So if you used to eat 100 grams of protein a day, you're going to need 120 to maintain what you were doing. Meaning, if you are trying to build more muscle and build strength in menopause, you would want to increase even more from there. Meaning, if you were like, oh, I was eating about 100 grams of protein before I went into menopause, a day, and now I went through menopause, and now I want to shift and change for my system. Oh, I'm going to up it to 120. Yes, but that's a maintenance level. You would have to go more than that to really build strength and muscle tissue. Because that is just different. And how your body processes carbohydrates and things is different, which again, it can be really helpful to follow the warming and cooling aspect of things week on, week off, or bi-weekly on, bi-weekly off, to help your system process overall and to keep it from being stagnant. So just as simple as that. Yeah. So that's eating for your hormones in your cycle. And if you're looking for that support, if it's tough to be regulated with that, again, that's where I have these tinctures on top of it to layer in to help with that support in general. So keep that in mind overall. Now, if you have any questions, let me know. But as always, you can find the tinctures here below this video. Make sure you click the link. You can also go to my website and download for free a Recipes for Your Cycle cookbook and get that sent right to you just to get started. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.